exists.
Okay.
My cousin lives down there in New Orleans.
Yeah, I
he
was
looks
gonna say,
after
what
it
do
a
you-
little something.
Okay.
I only see it like 4 times a year.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
bit of a seed. I either want to like go to the islands for a winter sometime, or maybe try to circumnavigate it somehow. I don't fucking know.
Why not? Fuck
I
it.
don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like realistically,
Welcome
I
to the
almost
club.
feel like I wanted to circumnavigate back in the day because frankly, I just wanted to escape. And now I don't think my desire to escape is this great. So it's kind of like sometimes we head towards a dream, and then like
And then it's yeah,
the whole cotton candy mountain kind of thing. Like it's like who fucking knows? What
yeah. Well, I think we're all fed that. Like you're supposed to have this vision of what your end goal is, and I think it's bullshit.
Oh, I don't
think
know.
it's just
I
humans- I think it's
realistically,
humans
I'm not
trying.
going to add up in the eyes of society. I don't think I'm ever going to be a fucking homeowner. I'm not
Oh, God,
shooting
no.
for a regular life.
There's,
And honestly, I'm probably shooting to be dead by 70. It's kind of my goal.
there you go.
I mean,
I'm
just
not gonna
because,
be able to
like,
afford
honestly,
it.
I have a feeling it's going to be like that intersection where, like, things are getting less awesome and, like, things are getting harder. And a lot of, like, frankly, my favorite people, like, they fucking check out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of, like,
I mean, you
freaking...
just had to go to the bathroom, but we can show it now.
There's a lot of stigma. Like, I know we're not supposed to think that way, and you're supposed to, like, save people that
Nah,
think that
fuck
way.
that.
Don't
Fuck
worry,
that.
I'm not going anytime soon. I kind of got
The
it
minute-
on
the
my calendar.
minute,
like,
like-
74 years of age.
Yeah.
There it went.
I mean, like, you have people that, like, are, like, you know, young at heart and stuff, and then I look at my family, and they are not. So, I'm going to be old real fast.
Well, it's tricky stuff.
I don't know. It's funny because like everyone always thinks I'm like much younger than I am. But like internally, I feel like I'm a 70-year-old already.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know
I'm
what I
just
mean? Like
aging
I'm
into
just
it.
like I'm like super cranky on the inside, but the outside doesn't match the crank I feel on the inside. So everybody's talking mad shit to me that I'm like too old to listen to, and it's just like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know, and it's like, oh, why are you such a bitch? I'm like, I only look new, god damn it, like.
Yeah, no, I definitely... I feel that, yeah. People always called me a grumpy old Italian man. And I was like, I'm just aging into it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's like I'm just really I can't wait to be the age where you really like. I feel like once you turn
Welcome to
30, you don't
Blamestorming.
give a shit as much.
Oh,
But like
God.
I can't wait till I'm full on old black woman. Don't give a shit.
Twitter at Big
See,
Talk.
I don't know if you're gonna get there.
Big Talk and Brewskis. You can
It's
follow
like-
that on Twitter at Big Talk and Brew.
You're
We
opinionated.
will.
Like, so how are you gonna really not give a shit? How are you gonna get there?
No, I mean I'm not gonna give a shit what other people think about my opinions.
Yes.
That's where I'm talking.
In other words, it's not the absence of opinions.
no, I'm
It's
gonna
a
have
freedom
opinions.
of concern.
It's-
I think you should already damn near be there. You gotta be like 80% of the way there. Like you're pretty
I'm close.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
close. I'm close.
Like you just gotta go for another PR. Like put up a
Like-
heavy bar. Like,
No,
whatever.
today I walked into yesterday I walked into set and like they like started without me and they were 5 minutes early and I was like, that's great. Now everything that you just did we could redo, and you could walk me through it because like I'm in charge of the set, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm such a cunt.
Which honestly is
There was
an
no reason.
underused fucking curse word.
There was
I
no
need those more.
literally there was no reason for me to come in with that kind of an attitude. Like I'm getting paid to all my friends, and I'm like, great. Now you motherfuckers can redo it. And they're just like looking at me, and I'm like, I
You're
know.
Like, but we were trying to make you happy. like,
I know they totally were. They totally. they're like,
because if we didn't make you happy, you were gonna be a cunt then. But now you're a cunt now, so now you're just a cunt.
I don't know why anyone works with me on this one.
I got pizza.
Oh my god, I am so anti, and there's not going to be any pizza on our set this year. I swear to God.
It slows everyone down, and bathrooms are a problem afterwards. Usually, with a set with a lot of pizza, it's a lot of cheese.
Mike, you're good.
One more minute and exporting all the file.
Okay.
We're ready for the episode 2 in about another minute.
Okay, cool.
Did you find the stream, the YouTube?
Well, I just posted on Facebook where people can find me, but I didn't know this was live, so this is gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then just so it's like a new episode now.
Yeah.
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 Just so you know, yeah.
It's a brand
It's
new
like a brand new
Yeah.
episode.
This is a brand new
Yeah.
episode. We're gonna do
Right on.
new intros.
How do you guys go about getting like you pay for what he's doing and all of
Yeah.
that, and there's
Yeah.
like a monthly fee or like
Yeah. And
do you have to pitch it and see if it's something they would do, or this is just a space that if you want to do it, you can just
Well,
come and say, hey.
I already had a show when I got here, and then I pitched a new show once I got here. So this is my newest show. But if like my co-host was like, it had rights for SNL, so that wasn't that hard. But like,
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, and I definitely talked to Mike. Mike is awesome. Mike is actually
There's a
my.
panel of judges, so it's kind of like American Idol, and we choose if you're good.
You're
enough.
lying.
Yeah, he's totally lying. He's like, if you can pay the monthly fee, you have a space.
It's how life works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just remember, this will be my referral, Mike.
Oh, you get a referral.
This is the queen of the referrals.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Really? All right.
You know, some of us are type A, and if anybody's bringing bitches into the house, it is me.
Yeah, no. One of my friends is doing real estate in Brooklyn, and he's just like only gay people. And I'm like, I don't think you're allowed to do that. And he's like, it's fine, only gay people. I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything because I'm fine with that.
That's why I stopped doing real estate.
I think the way to do that is you refer what you don't want to work with. I mean, it's not that you're saying that they couldn't successfully live there. You're saying you're not the right one to be
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
person.
No,
to know
he's
it.
coming from a place where when you're dealing, I mean, I did real estate for 10 years, and I've dealt with so many different kinds of people. You know where you excel and where you don't, and you know where the problem's going to come from and where they won't.
Right.
So, and this is going to sound horrible, and I
Do
hope
it.
that you're not
No,
recording
no,
this,
I don't.
but if you're dealing with, the SUV baby buggy stroller type, they come with a lot of baggage.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of cultural expectations, that kind of baggage. or
All
something
of
else?
that.
Okay,
All of that.
we are good.
All right, we're ready to roll, you
5
guys.
seconds of silence, and we'll have the intro. We'll get started. 5.
Welcome to Blamestorming. Blamestorming. In a post-truth world, there's plenty of blame to go around. 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 Join Dave Cyrus and Marissa Smith as they blamestorm as they blamestorm about today's hot topics.
Hey guys, welcome back to Blamestorming. I am Marissa Smith. Dave Cyrus is out doing Hollywood shit. So I have the wonderful AJ Mattioli co-hosting with me tonight.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
We have got Michael Benson with us.
Hello.
And we have Mike Drayden.
Hey, what's happening?
So, now Mike, how's your
Yeah.
week been?
My week. Oh my God. It has been a roller coaster ride because my week started a few months ago. We just it's been great, and it's been busy, and it's been wonderful. We launched our Indiegogo campaign for our second season of my web series called Last Call, and
Oh,
this
nice.
has been, thank you. This has been a months-long prep because this time around, I mean, before I did it like half-assed and not really understanding the tools that come along with, all the different crowdfunding platforms, without really utilizing them or reading the materials and just trying to figure out, how I could use this medium. I just went at it all wrong. But this time around, I read every page I could find, every suggested link. I read everything, and some of the stuff I'd been doing already.
Right.
Some of the stuff was new. I think that the time when I started planning it was better for me to learn the process more
Right.
and to be more prepared for today. So we had a soft launch last Monday for our VIPs and previous donors, so this way they could have first dibs at all the perks that we have. And today, this morning, and I did this. I did Facebook Live videos on my page and the show's page. That it went live for the universe for
Oh,
everybody.
nice.
So
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
Great.
So I went.
Great.
We talked about. Well, I talked about all the stuff that was been going on. I gave some shout outs. I lost my shit a little bit about Billy Porter, of course. I think everybody, and I'll say it again. No one is gonna remember anything anyone wore except for Billy Porter.
Billy
Yeah,
When
Porter.
they
this
say
is
the
true.
Oscars 2019, the only thing that's going to come to mind is
Billy
Porter.
Porter. Yeah.
Period. The end. He ruined the fucking internet last night, and I love you, Billy. I love you. So yeah, that's been my week, is getting ready for this entire haul. We have like about I think it's 2 months, 60 days, maybe a little bit less to do the campaign. We got off to a good start. I'm going to be very, I don't want to say aggressive, but I'm going to be persistent because I really want to elevate the quality of the show. And when I say that, I mean getting better camera equipment, because we shot the majority of our first season on an iPhone, which was great. But
Right.
we could still do that if we get the right accessories for it. But Mr. Mattioli over here is going to be helping us out throughout the season to elevate the visual quality, and of course the lighting and editing, because I really want to take this somewhere. And where the show started was I think I came across this article on Facebook, backstage via Facebook, on artists creating opportunities for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's been my life, since I was a kid. From the time I was like playing in a park and the kids make fun of me and they, oh, you can't play with us, Fagaroa, you can't play with us. And I came home crying. And my mother said, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, they won't let me. Well, make up your own games. And oh my God, my mind was, I can make my own games. I can make up my own shit. So that's been my path in life. I would and eventually start out doing what everybody else is doing and not really fit in, and then create my own shit. So I came across this article about people in the industry creating their own opportunities, and I said, I thought I'm going to write my own my memoir. Here's me feeling myself, thinking, who's going to read my book? But then as I'm writing, I'm thinking about all these experiences from my 10-year real estate career, from when I left that and threw it in the garbage, and started working the front desk at David Barton for like 5 years, and then getting into gay nightlife, go-go dancing, and winning a Glammy Award, and then getting into gay porn. And I have all of these experiences that would make a great fucking web series.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. 99.9% of everything you're going to see, that you see in season 1 and that you will see in season 2 and going forward, is true.
Right.
And the names have been changed to protect the identities of some, but the situations are real, and everyone who watches this, they'll know, they'll know
You're like,
that
oh,
was me,
shit,
that
yeah.
was me, and I did that, that was me. So I started writing, and I thought, okay, this can be more than just about me.
Right.
Because as I'm writing, I'm thinking about who is going to play these characters, and I know a lot of great actors. So I thought, okay, if I do this, not only am I going to be creating this project, it's a calling card for myself that I can create my own reels from, that actually had open doors for me to do other independent stuff. And I ended up in Michael Vaccaro's web series, because we met on a film.
Right.
By Todd Vero, and then he invited me to be a part of his show, and then he became my love interest in my show. So I meant it to be not only just about me, because I thought, as narcissistic as I can be, and as snobby as I can be, how can others use this to benefit themselves? So when I say elevate the quality, I want it to be so good that any number of the actors, any number of the crew can put this on their resume and say, I was a part of Last Call. And when people look at it, they'll say, wow, that's legit shit.
Yeah.
So we're at the stage where we're going to try to raise this money and get us up there. And, I'm very confident and very hopeful that we're going to reach our goal. It's on Indiegogo. Look for Last Call 2 or Last Call 2. You can find it. Give what you can. It's every opportunity for anyone to. If you value independent content creators and people out there trying to make it for themselves, my show, AJ's work, all of us doing this from the indie world, support them.
Especially
us.
now, because Amazon is the Words. My documentary Words was taken down because of content, which essentially means LGBT content, is coming down. They took down over 400 independent films. Just
All LGBTQ.
no, they
Oh.
they started with the LGBT because the first independent films to go are the gay ones. They still have lots of gay films on there, but a lot of them are now missing. And then over 200 indie films have gone. So a lot of people need to are creating their own work because
Yeah.
we have to at this point. Yeah.
Well, we were having a side conversation, but before we go there, we were having a side conversation about this where eventually, Michael, you said, what was the word you used to describe this new internet and a
Decentralized apps.
Exactly.
They abbreviate them as DApps. So basically, rather than centralized structures such as YouTube and so forth, there'll come a time that we'll have video protocols and things that are hosted in a fragmented, decentralized way, and you'll call upon the pieces to be delivered to you in the sequential manner, and no one party will be able to stop it. In other words, that's the whole nature of what cryptocurrency delivers. It's decentralized money, and there's going to be decentralized video and decentralized everything else.
Right. So there has got to be, I mean, and for all of us, all of us who are doing this work, because there has got to be a way for us to be able to create our art in whatever way, shape, or form that is, and not be monitored or forced into a structure by someone else's view or viewpoint.
Yeah.
And that it is vital. I mean, when artists from centuries ago, when their work was finally recognized after their deaths or what have you, I mean, I probably am preaching to the choir here, but when an organization places restrictions on our art, when does it stop being that? When do our voices disappear? Now, if you're telling me that first they
you seem to have an
I
issue with
want to
this
say
statement.
no. I support that exists in the now, but I also want to acknowledge that I think it existed in the past, in the sense that patronage of the arts typically came from people in power and in control. So while now it's done in a suppressive sense, in the past it was done in a administrative and permissive sense, in the sense that you would be, say, if I was powerful and I liked what you did, I'd say, well, great, go to work on that. Here's some money, get it done. So, in other words,
if
we've
a
always had
powerful
issues.
person didn't like your work, you wouldn't get a sponsor or a patron,
Right.
so you weren't able to actually get that work done.
Right. So how
Yeah,
many
so-
Michelangelos did we not get to see? How many?
Plenty.
Yeah.
I agree.
All of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Well,
So what are you saying about?
Well, what I'm trying to
explain
say
this to me.
is, well, I mean, we have things that are going to come that very small payments are going to be possible, in the sense that you could price something at a minuscule level. Like, let's say some video is able to get 80,000 views.
Okay.
You could charge something low. Like, you could say, yeah, it's 40 cents to watch this, hypothetically, in the future. And through technologies such as the Lightning Network, which is a network that runs above Bitcoin, someone can pay you 40 cents without incurring any significant fee. In other
So
words,
it's sort
frictionless payments that are decentralized and not controlled by a third party, a financial institution.
So
In
it's if Venmo was more individualized, kind of thing.
in other words, there's no paternal or
There is
like,
no Venmo. They
there's-
just pay you directly.
It's a protocol. In other
Okay.
words, we'll have to double back, but basically the bottom line is, through consensus, no singular party is in control, is the nature of what the cryptocurrency movement is about, and all
Okay.
these other decentralized things, in the sense that the rules of the network are enforced by nodes and the mining nodes themselves, and it can't be stopped. It's anti-fragile in the sense that there's like 10,000 Bitcoin nodes in the world or something like that. So
Okay.
you could outlaw it in Germany or America or something, but it lumbers on.
Yeah.
You-
Interesting.
You can't
Okay.
take it out. It's anti-fragile. I mean, to outline the principles of it, a good cryptocurrency is decentralized, stateless, permissionless. There's a few more. I'm so
And I mean, do you
sorry.
feel like this is
So-
just a matter of time until the government kind of takes over it?
Well,
Like if you think about the legalization of weed, it
they'll
took what a
fight
half
it,
a
I
month.
think, in the sense that the real problem is it's a fundamental shift. If we, it ties into monetary policy. Like we have an unbacked currency now, particularly in the sense that we backed away from the gold standard, I want to say in the early part of the last century, and we completely backed away from backed currency, I want to say in the 60s, and went to fiat currency, which means by decree. So basically the Fed just prints money like a drunken teenager or something. They just print money, print money, print money. And that's the invisible taxation that exists through all of us in inflation. You notice how everything costs so much through time. And it's also how we sustain all these wars. I mean, it's a really ugly thing how money works. If I could recommend one book that gives insight about how money works, Robert Sherratt, 1%, the book the financial institutions don't want you to read. It's 99 cents on Kindle, $5.99 paperback. He offers it in the sense that he has a serious background in that field. And basically, world banks in Switzerland set levels of assets and bonds that are to be held by banks, which are fractional reserves banks. And the fairy tale vision we have that I deposit money and someone else borrows it and pays a fee, it's kind of horseshit. Yeah. It's smoke and mirrors laid on smoke and mirrors laid on smoke and mirrors, in the sense that the assets are so over leveraged that if the flow of cash coming back into our system were to hiccup, it comes crashing down catastrophically. I mean, it's not unlike the 2008 mortgage crisis in the sense that you had good mortgages, a pile of crap mortgages, and good mortgages on the top. And they knew that a lot of these things were going to crash. Like, these bankers are criminals.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh,
so
God, yeah.
I'm not that knowledgeable about it, but bottom line is cryptocurrency is a method of human exchange. Like, your phone can install a wallet. It doesn't care where you are. It doesn't care what you're a citizen of. It doesn't want to know your name. And you can transact on the network. It doesn't give a shit. That's what's beautiful about it, is it's a separation of church and state for finances and government. And it's not to say that fiat currency won't continue to exist. It will. But we now, as humans, have a tool that we can use to say, yeah, over in the shadows over here, on our little Bluetooth network we have set up over here that you have no idea about, yeah, we're exchanging cryptocurrency over here because we have a need to or a reason to, and there's nothing you can do about it.
So now, what are the major cryptocurrencies that are available to us right now? I mean, you mentioned Bitcoin, but, like, is that the only cryptocurrency?
I mean, if we're talking payments, like, you're going to see a number of them. I'm so shot out right now at the moment, but like, you have your Litecoins, you have, like, for inter-institution payments, you have Ripple, which there's some criticisms of because it's a touch centralized. It's put out by a company. There's a lot of different ones, but the real metal of a cryptocurrency is you want it to be distributed amongst a lot of people, and you don't want any particular party in control. In other words, it's about avoidance of trust in a singular institution to act in a certain way. You'd much rather a granular structure of lots of parties that could choose to act in a certain way. So just through probability and self-interest, hopefully the parties make the right choice. Like back in 2017, we had a situation where Bitcoin, since 2009, has been a chain that there's a block every 10 minutes, and there's certain rules about the nature of the blocks. So back in 2017, the volume of transactions was such that you had people advocating for larger blocks and people that wanted to retain the smaller blocks. The advantage of smaller blocks is you're able to operate a node at a lower hardware and financial cost, which makes the network more robust and more broad and so forth. So it's more anti-fragile, it's more distributed, it's just better in that way. The big blockers felt that since you could fit so much more transactions in a larger informational size block, that would allow it to scale on size with things like Visa and MasterCard sooner. But there's concerns in the sense that the nature of cryptocurrency, the contents of the block, mathematically, it's harder to nail down when there's more in the block. So in other words, from a technical computer science level, a smaller block is smarter from some technological level. I'm not that well versed in it. Bottom line, Bitcoin Cash came out in September. It was launched in a shady way on Coinbase and I'm sure other exchanges. And they seem to spin a lot of propaganda, and a lot of people are critical of Bitcoin Cash.
I've heard a lot of, like, critical things. Like, Yeah.
They're not doing so hot.
We were talking about this earlier. There's this great documentary on Netflix about I think the first guy who launched.
Ross. It starts with a U.
I can't remember his name, but it seemed like this thing was growing and it was becoming viable, and it just seemed to me like the government got wind of it, and because it was a different currency, they found laws to block him from doing it, and he ended up going to prison for some reason. I think remember
he was,
all of it, but it just seemed
was he
very
involved with the Silk Road by chance?
I don't.
Because
Silk
that's
Road,
that's
Silk Road.
It's a dark net.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I could be wrong, but no. But it just seemed to me like everything that went against him seemed very shady the way they presented the.
Well, that's another thing that I think a lot of people hear about Bitcoin is that it's like the currency of the dark web, and a lot of scammers and I for lack of a better term, I'll say cyber hijackers or terrorists
And pedos
will
and everything else.
Yeah.
pedos,
Yeah.
they will use Bitcoin and I'm gonna step out of the pedosphere for a second and just go into the cyber hijackers, cyber terrorists, but they will take control of a network, i.e. a hospital's computer network, and they will say, okay, we want I'll just say 15,000 Bitcoin for us to give you back your network. And
wasn't that a Grey's Anatomy episode?
yeah, I mean it was a real life episode as well.
Really?
But yeah,
Is that where they got that from?
I think they got it from real life. I
Oh
don't
my
think it was
God.
like 15,000, but it was like I think it was like 2,000, and I'm not sure exactly
That is scary.
like how many Bitcoin equals how many dollars. Like I'm
Depends
not sure.
on the time frame, but
I'm not sure the Bitcoin exchange, but whatever it was like whatever Bitcoin they were asking for was equal to like close to like $250,000. And so they hijacked this network in a hospital, and every person in the network that turned their computer on, it was just like, your network's been hijacked. You need to pay us X amount of Bitcoin and X amount of hours. Otherwise, you're going to lose all your content. And so like this has kind of been the currency within the black web, but also within a lot of internet cyber scams. And so like I think a lot of people have some leery feelings about whether or not they should involve themselves with Bitcoin, because like yes, we all know that probably your stockbroker was in some fraternity that gang raped a girl somewhere.
Oh my God.
However,
Not wrong.
the currency that they're dealing in is not an illegal currency, although they themselves might be illegal. So I kind of feel like a lot of people are leery about Bitcoin as a currency or as an investment.
Well, I think Bitcoin's hope would be to be a currency in the sense that if it's an investment, it fails as a currency, and then why did it even bother to exist? In the sense that if it is not a currency, it's not valuable, it is an investment. So frankly, usage and adoption is the priority when it comes to cryptocurrency. The bad things that happen with cryptocurrency, I think they could also happen with money, but they're particularly of concern when we talk about Bitcoin in the sense that it's pseudonymous. So let's say I spool up a wallet on a phone. You don't know who that is. So yes, you can tell the paper trail of where transactions transit and potentially an exit point where they exit the network for cash, but you don't see the cash exchange. Like, say the party that's willing to pay cash for those stolen Bitcoins or those hot Bitcoins, the money changes hands, but it just got sent to another address. You don't know what happened. So it's a murky issue, and I can't answer it simply, but I will say that crime and corruption is not unique to cryptocurrency.
True.
And the real trouble with cryptocurrency is there is no overstructure or appeal to anything. It really calls upon a level of electronic diligence that most of us are frankly unfamiliar with. All of us are unfamiliar with.
Right.
Like we can always reset passwords. Not the case with crypto.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like
Oh.
it's
the way
very
they describe-
unforgiving.
Yeah, it's very one Bitcoin is just it's forever. So where you can literally track where it was created and where it's traveled to from beginning to, and it just never ends. And that's the beauty of it, because it's always there. And then when they add more, it just that's why they develop the block, so it can be another generation of.
The actual definition of, like, let's say anybody in this room I was to send Bitcoin to, when your wallet creates an address, it's really creating a safe that can only
Right.
be opened by your private keys. And when I send a certain quantity of Bitcoin to that address, it's only saying that there's that much Bitcoin in that address, and that can only be controlled by your keys. The whole thing is, I mean, I'm frankly still on the learning curve myself, but it's
Wait,
very
this is like I'm like if you have to know all this information and still be on the learning curve, I'm
Right.
very nervous.
I'm fucked.
I am screwed.
I've been reading for like 15 months in a not completely dedicated and focused way, but pretty intense.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on. I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm like,
it's-
I think it's the wave
money,
of the future, because eventually, I think, if not in the next 20 years, I think the next 50 to 60 years, we're not going to be dealing with paper, cash
Yeah, I mean,
at
I
all
don't
anymore.
even-
It'll
yeah.
all be electronic, and it's not going to
I
be
pay
what we're used to.
everyone
It's going to
through
be
Venmo,
completely
yeah.
different, where it's going to be universal, because by the time we get to the end of this century, into the early next century, we'll have a global economy that is just
Yeah.
financed by one kind of transaction. It'll
Oh,
just
yeah.
be, whatever kind of credits.
I mean,
you have.
honestly, if it wasn't for my rent, I probably could live my entire life via Venmo. Like
Yeah.
I've kind
know,
of
I agree with
eliminated
you.
a bank. Like
I agree
the
with
only
you.
reason I even the only time I look at, like, I use anything, like maybe at bars, and some bars are taking Venmo. Most of the places I
Some
shop
of them are
take
taking
Venmo.
Apple Pay,
Yeah,
and some of
Apple
them are
Pay.
taking the whatever else you're
Yeah,
using. Yeah,
so
it
it's
blew
like,
my
I
fucking
mean,
mind.
yeah, it blows. I mean, even tipping now, drag queens are like, don't
Venmo
spend my whole
me.
life. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, like my whole life is
Paige
gay
Turner.
nightlife.
Not in my tits, in my Venmo.
Yeah, in my Venmo. And it's like that. Like even the last film, I did a film this weekend, and I got paid from the client that hired me. They paid me, and then I via Venmo, and then I paid all of my crew via Venmo. So like, I like at the end of the year, like when I start doing the beginning of the year rather, when I start doing my taxes, and get around to that, it's not really looking at my bank account to break down what I've spent on. It's really just breaking down my Venmo of what I spent on.
Right.
So if we're already kind of, I feel like Venmo's
But they give you
the,
statements, don't they?
and-
Yeah, so it makes it easy.
Yeah, it
because
they-
I get my PayPal statement and it tells me everything.
yeah,
and yeah.
so it's like it's kind of dumb for you. So I think it's a middle ground to crypto maybe.
crypto's still so wild west in the sense that the biggest problem is since it's treated as property, not currency. If you purchase it at a given level and then you make a financial gain over time, if you choose to sell and derive that value in shorter than a year's time, that's short-term capital gains, and that's taxed at
Big
your top
tax, yeah.
taxed at your
Oh,
top effective
okay,
income rate.
okay.
Whereas if it's long-term capital gains, profit pulled over a year, that would mean that it would be taxed. I want to say at 20% is long-term capital gains.
I would love to have any kind of capital gain. I got to be honest with you.
Well, I
So-
mean, honestly, my
Yeah.
best advice for you is to become involved with cryptocurrency on a very small level. Like if you even bought $3 of cryptocurrency for the next 3 years, odds are you're going to win. I can't promise you,
Really?
but it's the bottom line is if you've divided Bitcoin evenly among humanity, like I want to say, like you'd each have something like 0.004 of it or so, or maybe
Okay.
like in other words, a really trivial sum. Like every human would get something like $4 a Bitcoin,
Okay.
or $2 a Bitcoin. So you'd be well ahead of the race if you had $50 a Bitcoin.
Interesting.
In
Right.
other words, the scarcity is not understood in the sense that when you take a number like 21 million, which it's divisible to 8 decimal places, so that's an important thing. People need to understand you could buy $1 of Bitcoin, a quarter of Bitcoin. There's 6.5 billion of us. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's the upward pressure is going to exist
So
eventually.
now, how does a person purchase a Bitcoin?
You need to choose an exchange. Now, mainstream, the easiest is probably going to be something like Coinbase. Now, they're U.S. based. They're going to have the know your customer and anti-money laundering stuff, so you better be right with your taxes and don't try to jerk Uncle Sam around because you got to play right because they know.
So they'll be auditing a lot of people.
Right,
yeah.
like,
Sounds like-
if you wanted to try to go outside mainstream structures, there's things like BISC, which BISQ, B-I-S-Q, is a decentralized exchange. Now, the trouble's going to be is you're going to need a very small quantity of Bitcoin to offer as your security of the proposed transaction you offer. You are able to buy Bitcoin through BISC with, I want to say, things like PayPal, possibly Venmo, as well as Bank Draft. And it has the advantage in the sense that BISC does not know your customer anti-money laundering stuff. So that's kind of more in touch with the anti-establishment punk ethos of cryptocurrency.
Okay.
But
Your dark web.
yeah.
I feel like
I've never even really messed with the dark web. I don't even know how to use it. All dark web means is a non-indexed website. That's
so like
all
you
it
just
means.
I type in dark web.
No, they're onion
Is that-
websites. It's about Tor browser. It's about Tor browser. See, now, I don't know much about how Tor browser works, but I think it obscures points of entry and points of exit for information exchange on the internet. So onion websites, dark web websites are unindexed websites, but I guess somehow you know how to access them. So you access dark web content.
It's for the pedos.
Yeah,
But
it's not-
it's
it sounds-
it's
yeah,
kind of how
sounds like
people in this day.
pedos.
No, it's how you buy drugs in this day and age, frankly. Like, I don't buy drugs on the dark web, but it's the right way to do it.
I just-
You're like, I do.
No,
I
I
bought
don't.
my drugs
I-
on the bright web just like every other goddamn American.
Can I just go?
I
Can
just
I
go
just
to
go to
guts.
Craigslist.com again? Remember Craigslist? That's where you got your drugs. That was the
Okay,
easy
oh my
way.
God, that sounds
Just-
really nice. I wish you could do
Yeah.
that.
Once upon a time in the 90s, there was this website where you can go to get different kinds of ecstasy,
Oh my god.
and they were like categorized by color and by intensity. And there was the Superman S one. It was the perfect shade of blue, and I bought some of those. I'll never forget.
That's awesome.
Was it your Superman?
Oh, it was my everything.
That sounds great.
You
Yeah.
got me. Who's got you?
I wish I knew
It was
more
called
about
the Lois Lane.
It was the Lois Lane.
I wish, honestly, I wish I knew more about it, and I wish it was of more interest to people. I'd say the one thing you should know is if you choose to get involved with cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, is you need to have it in your own wallet. Like, don't leave cryptocurrency on an exchange when you buy it. You need to transfer what you buy out to a wallet that's under your own control, that you have your own private keys. Because if you look back into history, things like the Mt. Gox thing in 2014, where all sorts of funds went south and it went ugly. And then you got the Quadriga QX thing or whatever, where the guy died recently. And
Right,
Yeah.
and
lots of
nobody can
coins
get
all-
their coins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nobody
it's
can get
all
not your
Oh, wow.
coins,
And they
not your
disappeared,
Bitcoin.
some of them,
right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Not your coins, not your Bitcoin. So it's the personal responsibility that comes with being involved with crypto is immense, and you positively must create your own wallet, secure your own keywords somewhere where someone else won't get them.
See, your
Don't screw up.
keywords are like personal responsibility.
It sure
that's
is.
that's the keywords that I'm not okay with.
Wait, whose
I mean,
responsibility is my personal?
It's gonna
I'm
give
out,
you the
bitches.
It's gonna give you the words. Like if you downloaded a wallet right now, like what's your smartphone platform?
Like Apple.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Green Address Wallet is a nice wallet for iPhone. So you download Green Address Wallet. Okay, great.
Oh,
It's
there are
going to
apps
tell
that
you
are
20
wallets, okay.
Exactly. They're like radio receivers.
Okay.
So it's going to give you 24 words. They must be written down clearly, in order, and not lost. The in order
Okay.
part's very
Oh,
important.
so it could be like building, street, car, pothole.
Sure.
All
Now
of those
they're
in-
from a specific pool of 1,024 words,
Yeah.
and there's either 12 or 24 of them depending on the wallet. So you could think of it as a combination lock that for every position on the combination lock has 1,024 positions. So when green address, which provides you with 24 words, gives you 24 words in a row, that's 1,024 to the 24th power of combinations, which means it's bonkers fucking secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's secure.
Yeah, no one's getting
But
that.
the bottom line is if you mess up, you messed up real bad. Real bad. And I've done it personally.
Yeah.
Not on a Bitcoin wallet, but
So they send you these words, and you keep them and you write them down, or
you
can keep
don't
them.
screenshot it. You write them down.
Oh, I see.
People
So there's
don't
not
screenshot it. You don't want a digital copy of this stuff that you're writing down on a adorable piece of paper.
So you have time before it like disappears before you can to write it down.
Oh, you got all the time
Okay.
in the world. Take all the time you like to write it down clearly on something adorable and store it somewhere secure. The bottom line is don't screenshot it. Do have it written out secure. If you really wanted to be the best person at it, you'd have a safe deposit box in a bank, and you keep keywords there where they really couldn't be lost.
That's interesting.
Which makes me paranoid if the bank fucking flipped weird and they stole your keyword.
Then you go into conspiracy world.
Yeah, then that's like a whole nother fucked up
I don't
shit.
know. I wish I had clear answers for people. I didn't do a lot of homework. But bottom line, start reading about crypto. It's a thing.
Yeah, no, it sounds like that's. I mean, especially if it's like Venmo seems to be like the center point of where we're going. So it was like bank some money, and now
I
like,
don't even have a
and
Venmo. I have a PayPal, but I don't
Girl,
have a
you
Venmo.
are
I
showing
had-
your
yeah.
age right now.
I
Bitch,
had a
I'm
Venmo. I had a Venmo, and then it got all.
I'm like dirt.
One
It's
last
like me
tip.
and Moses.
One last tip about crypto is if you choose to have large amounts, you want to purchase a hardware wallet such as Trezor or Ledger. That's an electronic device that keeps control of your private keys that you plug into your computer, and it makes it so you're less subject to any malware action or so
Jesus.
forth.
Yeah, a lot goes
it's
into it.
deep, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
deep.
Jesus.
You got to be real careful.
So now, okay. I'm just like I just kind of want to like walk through the steps of buying a Bitcoin. So
I
You
told
just
you,
said-
www.darkweb.com.
No, you could sign up at Coinbase,
okay,
Kraken. There's a Cash App that does it. There's local Bitcoins. There's
because I
Bisq.
see some like also like Bitcoin ATMs, and I don't understand what those are.
Yeah, those are Bitcoin ATMs. So basically, what those Bitcoin, I've never used one, but I imagine what it would do is you're going to tell it your email, you're going to give it a card via either credit or debit, and then it's probably going to email you a link to get yourself keys to control the specific Bitcoin you just bought.
Okay.
Now that you have control of that Bitcoin you just bought, you could choose to send it to another address you have control of, or you could choose to send it to someone that you've that like even Coinstar machines sell Bitcoin now. Like that
Oh,
just
shit.
started this year.
Okay.
Like just to
damn.
point it out, it's growing to a big degree. Like Nasdaq maintains a rolling awareness of Bitcoin price and Ethereum price. Now, Ethereum is different than Bitcoin in that it does not seek to be a currency. It's distributed code that basically can't be stopped.
Okay.
And a lot of other cryptocurrent tokens are issued on the Ethereum network, so it's distributed computing kind of.
Okay.
So
like,
so
you go to one of these Bitcoin sites.
Sure, say Coinbase.
Let's say Coinbase, and then you purchase a Bitcoin for how much?
Well, I looked. I want to say earlier today it was like $37.50. I want to say
For like a full coin?
1.0 bitcoins. Yeah.
It's $37.
It's $37 for.
No,
I'm confused.
3,750. Yeah.
Oh.
Like which is quite a bit lesser. Like it peaked at like 19,200 in December
Oh
of
my
2017.
One Bitcoin
Like,
is
yeah,
$19,000.
It's expected to go between 100,000 to 300,000
One
per
Bitcoin.
in the space of potentially 4 to 10 years. Even IBM believes so.
I mean, I already know my future is
Like-
eating cat food, but
I
I
know.
know.
Right? I'm like, if I had fucking $13,000 in the bank right
I
now,
would not
I
be
would not be
buying
buying
a
a fucking Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. I'd be
Sign me
paying my
up.
rent.
I'm about it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's,
But you
Yeah, it
don't
seems
need
like-
a whole one. Like in other words, you can buy .001, .00001. Like, you could buy any amount of it.
That's too
That's
much
insane.
math. I mean,
No, you don't
I was
need
good
to
math,
know
but
it.
that's way too much work.
Okay, so
Mm.
like you
Okay,
can
so,
buy
yeah.
fractions of a Bitcoin.
8 decimal places it's divisible to.
Okay. So now you buy one of these 8 decimal places that the
A
Bitcoin.
Satoshi's the smallest unit. Like .70 and then a 1, that's a Satoshi.
Okay, and a
Okay.
Satoshi is probably valued at how many dollars?
Like .00009 or so. Or maybe
Which
knock
is-
out a 0. Like
okay,
a very
so,
small
like, and-
fraction of a penny.
All right, and that equals what in a Bitcoin? Like 9 cents?
To put it another way, when Bitcoin's worth $1 million, a Satoshi will be worth a penny.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so like a wasting your
And,
time amount of Bitcoin. So like you can buy as little as it to show to
Shogi.
A
Satoshi
Satoshi.
to Shoshi worth of
Satoshi
Bitcoin.
Nakamoto's the founder that wrote the
Yes,
white paper
yeah.
and first launched it in 2009. The
Okay.
paper was written in October of 2008.
Okay, so you can buy this mushroom worth of Bitcoin. Like Mario
Purchase a
Kart.
millisat, 1,000 Satoshis.
Okay. And then once you buy this millisat worth of Bitcoin, then you have to open a wallet.
You should, yeah, because you don't want to leave it on the exchange.
So now, how much does it cost to open a wallet?
0.
Nothing.
No money.
Okay, so like, how do you open a wallet?
You download on Android something like Samurai. There's Bread Wallet, which I think is on Samurai and Android. On a really nice one on desktop is Wasabi, which is awesome because they have a new coin join feature.
This is
That
all
allows you-
Japanese.
Yes, I was just gonna
Well,
say that.
well,
It's all
it
very
allows
Japanese.
you to obscure the origin and path of your coins. Like, in
Oh,
other words,
wasabi.
there used to be tumblers that you'd send your coin to a tumbler, and then it would do all these transactions with others and so forth, and then send you coin back. Wasabi does something different, apparently, where there's a number of people tied into the Wasabi wallet at once, and it increases anonymous nature of Bitcoin. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it's weird.
Wow.
I wish I was better spoken about it.
No,
but,
no.
like,
No,
this
I
stuff
mean,
is-
you're,
Listen,
this
we
is
know
already a
nothing.
wealth
You
of
seem to be
knowledge.
right.
This
Yeah.
stuff is really a very fast growing.
Yeah. I
like,
mean, this is already a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, I feel- yeah.
I'm trying
Yeah.
my best to learn. Like, keep your eyes open for Lightning wallets. Like, I want to say there's an app called Lightning Wallet on Android, and that's Lightning is something put out by a company called Blockstream, and Lightning runs on top of the Bitcoin network. And while the Bitcoin network, the fee you pay is to get your transaction into a block, it's relatively costly compared to a Lightning transaction.
Right.
In the sense that a Lightning transaction, say if any one of us did business with each other, we'd open a channel between each other and say for times I needed to pay you, I'd send payment towards you, and for times you needed to pay me, you'd send payment towards me. But we don't need to close the channel until we decide, like, all right,
We're done with business.
We're done with business
Got
for
it.
now, or for some reason we want to, start a new chapter or something. But like, there's a kid out there online that's selling $1 quick sketch drawings on the Lightning Network, and he's selling $10 good drawings, like that he spends a lot of time on, and he's buying himself some video game platform by marketing drawings over the Lightning Network. Like,
Wow.
the beautiful thing is it's
That's
micropayments. Like, say you wanted to get your $2,500 for your film. People can send you 3 cents. People could send you a quarter. It's frictionless, basically. So it's potential for crowdsourcing and financial streaming opens up financial possibilities that didn't exist before, because we used to have
Okay.
expensive third parties sitting between us that says, yeah, that's great that you want to send that there, but I'm going to need $3.
You need some money, yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, it is going to usher in an age of micropayments that weren't even technically possible before. It's,
Right.
It's really weird stuff.
That's actually that'd probably be very influential for the film
That would
Yeah.
be great,
Yeah.
though. I mean, if we
Yeah.
could use a sort of a cryptocurrency that would help people.
There's another
contribute.
interesting one in the sense that like we're moving towards a rise of digital securities potentially too, which what you have going on is currently securities. It's a financial agreement between peoples or a party or a company or whatever. They're on paper largely. And the problem is nobody really knows exactly how many there are because it's settled between a lot of different investment houses and so forth. It's a bit of a mess. So with the rise of digital tokens, there's blockchains that have native asset functions built into them. So let's say you wanted to create 1,000 shares of a new film company you're starting. You say, this is my production company I'm starting. The shares cost $2,300 each, and I've got 1,000 of them. That's going to raise you your $250,000. Now, Barack Obama put through I want to say it was the Workman Act, and it changed the nature. There's something called a qualified investor, and there's certain investments that only they can access historically. But now the Workman Act enabled regular people that weren't so wealthy to access these same type of investments, but with certain rules. Like, let's say I only make $35,000 a year. You're probably only allowed to take $3,000 from me. You know what I mean? Because the government's saying like, hey, he only makes $35,000 a year. Don't go milking him dry over your project. But at least the sort of ability to get on the playing field now exists for regular people. And rather than needing to locate and pitch the elite, you could locate and pitch regular people, and the ability to mobilize projects just based on the Workman Act that I want to say was passed in 2013 really changes the game. And then you add the fact that you're able to do it digitally also changes it, because some of these protocols allow for the pushing of dividends through the digital token they've purchased. So you can also incorporate into the nature of your agreement, you could say 0.25% of profits, or maybe it's a bigger one if we're going to split them among all the tokens. You could say like 5% of gross profits quarterly will be pushed among the founders, or you know what I mean? Like there's choices and options. It's all math-based and accountable and not misty or prone to corruption. It's so traceable, it's ridiculous. I don't know. I wish I knew more.
No,
Definitely,
you sound
like,
like you know a lot.
you know,
That chain I was describing is a Raven coin. It's a fork of Bitcoin that has 1 minute block time versus 10, so it's like a way faster block thing, and it has native assets. It's an interesting project. It's backed by Patrick Byrne and his organization Medici Ventures.
okay.
And it's also I forget who that other guy is, but bottom line is Overstock.com was one of the first large merchants to start accepting Bitcoin. And
Oh, they do.
they do, and they did for a
Wow.
long time now. Yeah, you could pay with Bitcoin on Overstock.com.
Oh, I did
Yeah,
not
I mean,
know that at all.
you used to be able to pay on with Bitcoin on Expedia. They stopped that. See, the problem is there's issues with paying with Bitcoin in the sense that companies have a burden to convert it back into money and like all this stuff. It's a bit of a crap show. The real,
Right.
if the government would just let it be money, which I don't think they're going to do,
No, they won't.
No, they won't do
would
that.
make things so much easier. But
Well, if the government would do a lot of things, we'd have a lot more
I don't know.
ease with money.
Yeah.
I'd love to organize this information to make it more digestible, less random, and so forth. Like
You should
when
write about this. Like have a blog or
there's
something.
other
Yeah.
people that are great at it. Like Andreas Antonopoulos is a gentleman from Greece who's one of the better Bitcoin educators. He's on YouTube as Antop, like AA. And
That's the guy. That's
Yeah,
the guy.
he's
The
fantastic.
documentary that I was telling you about on Facebook. That's Netflix. That's the guy.
He never. No, Andreas Antonopoulos never was in prison. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe I meant someone else. No, but this is the guy who started it, and there was a. That's the guy. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
find it. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Find it.
There's a lot of great books and a lot of great people doing things, and
Yeah.
really the important thing is to realize the social vision of what cryptocurrency seeks to be. It's a goal to have money in the hands of the people and peer-to-peer payment. Like, yes, gains are great and profits great, but like there's like 2 billion people on this planet that are not banked, that don't have access to financial
Yeah.
services. And the way like phones happened in India, it never got wired for copper. And you look at like how Africa like booms in terms of like alternative energy and solar and so forth. So like there's going to be places that they never had regular banks, and they're going to pop in a
With
crypto
like
way.
a crypto way.
Right, because
Right,
it's so inexpensive to implement in the sense that everybody in the world has phones. Like, you go to some of the damnedest places,
They
got
have a
phones.
phone.
Yep.
So, we're gonna have to start wrapping this up, but I do very, very quickly, because I feel like it's something that we've been like touching upon a little bit. Oscars. So best dressed of the evening.
Hands down, Billy Porter.
Billy
He
Porter,
was.
Billy
I'm sorry.
Porter, and Selma Blair. Selma Blair came out for the first time
With
since
the
she got
cane,
Yeah, since she got diagnosed with
with MS,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
she rocked that cane. So
I
if
didn't
we were-
see.
if,
She rocked that cane.
She
Yeah.
I
rocked
didn't
that
see her.
fucking game. She looked beautiful. She had, very Billy Porter inspired cape on
Oh, just-
because he,
yeah.
he did make capes, popular.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
not popular, but popular again. But
Yeah.
it made the thing with the last thing that
Yeah,
he
that was
wore,
the Golden Globes.
the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
So the capes, you could definitely see his influence in Selma Blair's outfit. But I would say, Billy Porter and Selma Blair. And if you haven't seen Glenn Close seeing Billy Porter,
Yeah, that meme. Yeah, or that.
It is a
It
video.
seemed
I
like
haven't seen it, but
okay, so Billy is interviewing someone else, and then you see off to the side is Glenn Close looking intensely at Billy Porter, and then going, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
Like approvingly.
Yeah,
That's what it
it's-
seemed like to me. And then, like right after that, Billy Porter's interviewing Glenn Close.
yeah, it was pretty great. Like, it's very much like, do I like this? Yes, I do.
I
and
approve.
I
Like,
approve.
yes,
It's approved.
yes. Like,
It was all of that.
So I would
Yeah.
say that those two were the standouts. I feel like sadly Lady Gaga didn't bring me what I wanted outfit wise. I was like, come on, girl.
okay. So now I will
She looked
say,
beautiful, but like not what I was expecting.
I'm a
Brad-
traditionalist. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
Yeah.
I love a good gown. I love a beautiful tuxedo in those combinations. Sometimes people just don't bring it right. Sometimes they think they're going to, this will be great. And, there has got to be a gay person in your life to tell you,
no, girl, no.
no, no.
Yeah.
Newspaper on the nose, no.
No.
All of you out there listening to me, no. But yeah, I'm a traditionalist when it comes to that. But now in this day and age, I mean, especially now, I think it was on the either the Hollywood Reporter or Vanity Fair, one of those writers said Billy Porter has set the bar impossibly high.
Yeah.
Impossibly high.
Impossibly high now.
Yeah.
But all in all, there were not many letdowns. But I got to tell you,
Do
no
you
one's
know-
going to remember
I
anything
didn't
else
see
anyone
it,
ever
so
wore.
If you could just touch on
Oh,
what I
so-
would have
Okay,
seen.
let me show you a
So,
photo.
Billy Porter, for the audience members out there that didn't watch this, Billy Porter wore a
Velvet tuxedo gown.
so it was a tuxedo on the top, and then went into a gown, like a very big.
By Christian
glorious gown.
Siriano, I might add.
Yeah.
It's pretty Victorian. or
It is
something.
Yeah.
spectacular.
amazing.
Look at
It's
that.
amazing. It
Look
is
at that.
Fashion. It is just
yeah.
fashion.
It
It's
is. Yeah.
It's stunning.
Guys,
It's
I
couture.
kind of feel like that's
absolutely couture.
I feel like culture. We were talking about the way the world is and the apps and the things are going to swing Victorian pretty quick.
I
here.
hope so.
Life's going to get uptight.
It's
Well,
hoping the
It might
20s
take
come back.
20 years. The
Like,
20s are here
The
now.
20s are here, but I
man.
hope the
Yeah.
costumes from the 20s,
Yeah.
the 1920s come back.
I was happy with the winners of the awards this
gonna
year,
go the
especially
other way.
Regina Bell. I've met her once. I don't know if she'll
Regina
remember me.
King?
Regina King, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry. We met once randomly, but her winning and that was
This is like a case of like a child star makes good.
yeah, exactly that. Like what was before 227? She was the Real World, right? Not that Cosby spinoff. What was that?
Oh, different world.
Different World. She was,
Yeah.
I love that show.
that was her and all those kids that us
Yeah.
kids. Yeah, a lot of them did good from there, but yeah, that for her, she's
Oh,
a child star who made good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, Bradley and Gaga.
I don't know. I mean, I just that movie is so iconic that for me, like
There- Okay, before my mom took okay. My mother looks like Barbara Streisand. I gotta say, that's the Jewish Italian side of me. My mother looks like Barbara Streisand. She turned me on to Barbara Streisand. I had every Barbara Streisand album, including before we got to see the movie, A Star Is Born. I
Right.
knew every lyric to every song. We went to see the film. There is no other, and I know of the Judy Garland one and the one before that. After that, there is
Right.
no Star Is Born film for me other than
No.
Chris Christopherson and Barbara Streisand.
Yep.
It is
Babs
legend.
Babs is the best.
Yeah. So their film, it was beautifully done.
Yes. Yes.
I cannot argue. The acting was good for Gaga. It was I thought it was fantastic. Bradley Cooper he's really well
Yes.
well trained. He's good at he's a good actor. I cannot compare them to Streisand Christopherson. It just seems they're two different films with the same name to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I'll agree with
that's
that.
my 3 cents.
So like if I watch it as a different movie, a completely different movie, I really enjoyed the film. If I watch it as A Star Is Born, I don't enjoy it as much as
Exactly.
the Barbra Streisand version.
Exactly.
So now I've never seen any of the Star Is Born.
Okay.
Okay,
but
you're
I
gonna,
will
this is
say-
your homework this
Yes,
week. You're gonna
yes.
go see Barbara Streisand and Chris Christopherson,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be all about the Queen Bee. That's
Yes.
all I'm gonna say.
Yes.
What I would say though is that I feel like out of the entire night of the Oscars, Bradley Cooper's girlfriend was the biggest loser. Like, honestly,
Who's his girlfriend?
some Russian model that was like sitting in the front row trying to look like she was cool with the whole shit that like her boyfriend was being eye fucked by Lady Gaga for 3 minutes and 29 seconds. Like, it's like, honestly, I was just kind of
But they-
like,
I think most Russian women have resting bitch face. All of them, no matter what. Even if they could be eating ice cream, or they could have just
That's a good
come, and
point.
they all have resting bitch face.
no, like this was just kind of just like,
It's
oh,
true.
I'm okay. And then she was the first one to start the standing O, and it was just basically like, he better give me a ring tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, I felt like so bad for her. Like,
She was standing ovation because it was over. She was like, "Oh, it's finally done."
It's just like, oh, this is what emotions look like. Yes.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. Because, like, I felt like she did her part. Like, she got dressed. She looked beautiful. She was, like, supporting his art, supporting him.
Yeah.
And he made her look like a fucking fool the entire goddamn world.
Because this is the truth of the matter. That is not his girlfriend. We all know he's gay, and
Yeah.
he needed somebody to be on his arm. Who does he normally? All these years, he's gone to award shows. Who has he brought with him?
His mother.
Exactly. Okay, so everybody knows this is not his girlfriend. I'm not offended. I don't mean to call him out like that. I love Brad. I'm a huge Bradley Cooper fan. But I mean, come on. The power in your truth is more powerful than that performance you put on. And the performance I'm talking about is having, if she's your girlfriend, your girlfriend, girlfriend, and she's coming with you for a kiki, yes, that's fine. We get that. Everybody's got a girlfriend kiki, let's go to the party friend.
Yeah.
That's okay. And admit to that. But don't put on this fake shit, because I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah. Just
We
be
all
your
knew,
mom.
and it
Keep
was
with your mom.
exactly, because it would have been far more meaningful for everyone, especially since Billy Porter set that poll.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's impossibly what is it?
It's hard to reach.
He could have just totally come out last night. This is my boyfriend, or just come by himself. I'm here by myself. I'm here to hang.
Yeah.
I'm here to
Right.
sing a little bit. I'm here to hang. That's about it.
Isn't
I would've been
that
happy
his
with it.
choice, though.
Truly, it is his choice. But after all these years, why continue when we all know?
It's like
See, I don't-
before Kevin Spacey was a that we knew he was a
Exactly.
pervert. Everyone in the gay community was like, "Dude,
Come
Like,
out
come
already. We
out.
love
Like,
you.
just come
You're not
out.
gonna lose work. Nobody's gonna disrespect you.
No.
See,
You're
I
not
don't
gonna.
even know actors at all, so I'm coming from the dark here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
I can say this
From the
We're
dark,
gonna
from
have
the
to
dark
from all of
crowd."
us coming from the ground up. From the ground up, we all know our people. You are in a position of authority, and you're able to reach out your hand and lift us up. For Christ's sake, do it already. As much as we're supporting you where you are, we know where you started, because we're where you started. Where you started. Now it's the time for us to be completely visible. No one is going to disparage you for being out, because now is the time.
right.
Period. The end.
Okay, so we have to end on that note. I still think that Bradley and Gaga had some uncomfortable moments. I felt uncomfortable. Like, am I gonna have to learn how to eye fuck now? Cause I don't. But before we go,
I wear glasses.
it's
and
like
I
I
wanna
wear
say-
glasses and I got astigmatism. Like you won't know what my eyes are while I'm trying to fuck you.
Oh, dead.
So, but before we go, just tell everyone what projects are you working on? Where can they find you on social media? Mike, I'm going to start with you.
All right. You can find me on Instagram as Mikey Dreidel, on Twitter as Mike Drayden, Facebook Mike Drayden. Last Call web series on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and that's what I'm working on. The season 2. We just launched our crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo for Last Call. It's going to be fun. It's going to be epic. It's going to be a lot of love and entertainment. I can't wait for you guys to see it, and that's the big deal for 2018. And this year, I'm working on launching my own production company, where we will do a lot of not only my own work, but try to be a stepping stone or a platform for others to bring their projects to, where we can find the funding to get you guys to get your work out there, whether it's for the stage or for new media. Also, in that same vein, offering self-tape services and classes to learn about theater and acting and all of that jazz. That is my 2019.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Michael Benson.
If anybody wants to come sailing at the Jersey Shore, I offer sailing charters. And if anybody wants to talk cryptocurrency, just the same, email me at mikebenson24@gmail.com.
AJ
All
Mattioli.
right, and the next project up on my table is, well, we actually just finished up a film this weekend called A Single Evening, which deals with dating apps personified. It's a little musical, so look out for that. And then coming up is Guys at Parties Like It, which is a Me Too inspired horror movie where all the consent violators get killed in very fun and interesting, gory ways, as they all should.
So you can catch me on Twitter at Marissa Smith. Catch this show on Twitter at The Blamestorm. Check out my other podcast, Big Talkin' Brewskis, at Big Talkin' Brew. You can find me on Facebook at Marissa Smith, and also check out Fashionably Funny Productions if you ever want to catch the live shows, the podcast. All the info is on there at Fashionably Funny Productions. And remember, you guys, allegedly Mueller's supposed to be wrapping the investigation up soon, and I have a feeling that is not going to end without a Trump indictment. Have a good night.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
Woo! From your mouth to God's ears.